Hey Sagittarius, we're going to be doing your reading. So, all right, let's get right into your reading and see what's going on for you guys. Sagittarius. Sag. All right. I feel like you're organized. I have no idea why, but I'm understanding it. Okay, I am understanding that. There's a feeling of like being like organized or like, I don't know, or being like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm feeling. Ten of Swords. So maybe this is like, maybe you're doing a really friggin' good job with something. I mean, I'm sure you are. Okay, we're all doing good jobs at all sorts of stuff. So, all right. For your energy for this week, you guys have the Nine of Pentacles. So yes, I do think that that's true. I think there's something here that you're like, a level of like organization or something about that, or like getting back on track or something. It's a little bit hard to pinpoint, but I feel like I keep wanting to say organization, like that like slammed me right when we were getting your cards out. So I do feel like that has something to do with something here, okay? What I also understand is this could be the energy of being like, you know what, I'm going to organize stuff now so that I'm not friggin' like drowning in things later on, you know, that kind of stuff, which is friggin' awesome and not easy to do. So that definitely requires like some sort of like self-discipline, motivation, that kind of stuff. Funny enough, you have the Emperor as showing up as your opportunity here. So far I like this. So, all right, in the area of your feelings, you guys have the Moon card here. I think that whatever's going on, I think there's a sense of you guys feeling, this could be like a very home-based thing for some of you, okay? It could be that you're really like maybe taking into consideration like the things that you're surrounding yourself with, that kind of stuff, okay? Certainly could be. And it might just be that you're like, I need to, again, like I got to get stuff like organized. I got to, you know, redecorate something, or I don't know, something like that. All right, that's kind of what I'm understanding. So with this Moon card here, I feel as though you're feeling like, I want to say like a pull, maybe like a pull to stay home, or a pull to do something again like around your home, or something about that. Okay, there's something here. I also think if there's something that you're like, you know what, that thing makes me friggin' nervous, I feel like you're in the energy of being like, I'm going to do it anyway, or I'm going to kind of like push past this to see like what's kind of lurking beneath there, you know, something like that, okay? I feel like there's like layers of like depth going on with whatever this is. So, all right, you guys have the Star card, and this is showing up in your environment. So yes, I'm taking this quite literally for some of you guys. Again, I feel like this is just like a representation of, you know, things around you kind of like getting better, or like feeling like refreshed. That's what I'm totally getting, that idea, you know, of like organizing stuff, refreshing something about that, okay? That kind of thing. It's almost like there's a acknowledgement of your environment, really. Like you might just be one of those people, Sag, that like you're you know, like some people can't go to bed if like their house is messy, or they can't do whatever if like the counter is cluttered, or whatever the heck it is. That's like almost what I'm feeling, is you're like, you know what, I'm going to take care of it now so that I'm not feeling depleted later on. You know what I'm saying? Or something is easier to keep up with. That's what I feel like I want to say here. So, all right, you guys have the three. Maybe there's an Aquarius around you as well. That could also be something. All right, there could, you know, be something about that, or something that you're like fixing, or I don't know, something about that. All right. Okay. For some of you guys, I feel like this Star card has like a really significant like personal meaning. I'm not going to get into like all of that, because I feel like that would be like a kind of like a private reading sort of. All right, so let's see. So for your goal, you guys have the Three of Wands here. So for some of you guys, it could be that you're like, I need more space. Like I need to like physically have more space here. Something about that. It might be that you're like, I need to like, you know, like that movie, like what is it, Step Brothers or something, when they're like, we have more place, we have more room for activities now, like because I think they like put their beds as like a bunk bed or something. I don't know, something about that. Okay, so I do understand this as being like, this is going to expand, this is going to open up, we're going to have more options, or we're going to have more room for something, or that maybe you're just going to have more like clarity as to like how to maybe have something else gain more traction, because you're kind of taking care of like the immediate stuff around you, all right, that kind of stuff. I am also understand somebody picking up trash on a highway, or somebody, these are prisoners who do this, so that's interesting. So I do I feel, was that offensive? I don't, listen, I didn't make up the didn't make up jails. That was not my idea. But for whatever reason, I was like, that sounds like really offensive. But people who are incarcerated, maybe that is better. I don't know. Okay, maybe this is just volunteer work, but I'm definitely seeing like people picking up like trash on the side of the highway or like the median of the highway, that kind of stuff, okay? Not, again, I don't know. That seems extremely specific, but there's something there, okay? There's something there. For some of you guys, this could be clearing out clutter in the terms of like emotional releases or being like, dude, I'm like, I need to see what is in all of these boxes so I can kind of like friggin' be done with them, or, you know, whatever it is, that kind of stuff. So, all right. For your challenge, you guys have the High Priestess here. Interesting, because you have the Moon card for the air of your feelings. So I think that there's something that I think your intuition is probably amazing, and I feel like there's something in there. Why this is showing up as a challenge, we'll figure it out, okay? It could be a challenge maybe for somebody else, or it could be a challenge in the terms of maybe this is something that you're like not completely comfortable just like outright saying, that kind of stuff. Maybe you're keeping that a little bit to yourself for one reason or another, okay? That kind of stuff. I also understand the challenge of maybe being like, dude, I don't feel comfortable exhibiting a specific thing because I need to make sure that like the environment is like correct for that or something like that, okay? That kind of situation. All right. Do you know what I'm understanding? I'm understanding either feeling or this could be an actual, you know, thing here, that maybe somebody has like turned their back on you, or that you're feeling a level of maybe being overexposed, I almost want to say. You know what I'm saying? Sag, this might be a challenge for somebody else that you are intuitively picking up on with this Moon card, okay? You know what I'm saying? It could be that there's like, you're like seeing somebody else like kind of navigate something here, and you might be like, I've been through that before. I understand that, like I can kind of see myself in that situation, or, you know, something like that, okay? That kind of stuff. All right, so, all right, Sag. Interesting. I do feel like your intuition is like is pretty good right now. Okay, that's definitely like kind of how I'm feeling. It almost feels like you're moving. It almost feels like you're doing something intuitively on accident. I actually kind of weirdly understand that. So, you know, I don't know. So, all right, for your opportunity, you guys have the Emperor card here. So, all right, I feel like you have the opportunity to create ambiance in the sense of how somebody is seeing you walk into something, or somebody else is walking into something, like the way someone's getting introduced, or how you're introducing yourself, or your first impression, something about that. That's what I'm trying to friggin' say, dude. It feels like you're like we didn't even get any cards out, and I was like, organization. So, and it's definitely being highlighted in this reading, okay? Like there's something about that. It's like you have the opportunity to make like a friggin' awesome first impression, or to be like super self-motivated, self-disciplined, that kind of stuff. I even understand maybe being like the leader, being like, okay, I'm the one who's gonna kind of start everything, get things in motion, with the understanding that maybe like people around you are gonna pick up on that and kind of like follow suit in that way, you know, that kind of stuff. I actually really do like that. For some of you guys, maybe you have an opportunity to move up in like a work position, okay? 9 of Pentacles to the Emperor is pretty great, because, you know, that's like I can do this on my own, I'm doing this, like I can stand on my own 2 feet, and then it's like the Emperor, it's like now you're actually the boss, like you're kind of like, you have people kind of like, you know, following your lead, that kind of stuff. But I really, really am getting that like very strong impression of like first impression, or, you know, something like that. So, all right, okay, Sag. So let's see what else. Sagittarius. Okay. There's like somebody around you that I feel like you know, and I don't know what goes on here, but I'm just getting that understanding that there's somebody around you that like, you know, that maybe can like, I don't know if it's like them helping you with something, but there's like a mutual understanding or something there. Like, I really don't know how else to explain that. I know that's like really vague, but there's something there. Okay. It's almost like, you know, when you can, like, I don't know, you look at somebody from across the room and like you make like a face and they like immediately know what you're saying, like that kind of stuff, like that. That's almost, I don't know, there's something like that. So, all right, let's see. Oh, that's friggin' awesome. So you just had the Emperor clarifying one of your placements. So that's awesome, because that is also part of your opportunity. So, all right. I like that. That's like a double confirmation, I feel like. Eight of Swords. So hopefully this is something that's like kind of freeing you from something here. I don't know. I'm getting really weird visuals with your reading. Like it feels like I'm getting hit with that, like cleaning up something on a friggin' highway again, or like, you know, those like little stick things that like you use, like they look like ski poles, man. Like you stick things in trash, like with those poles. I have no idea, but that's like, I'm getting that like so friggin' much. So, all right. With the Nine of Pentacles, you guys have the Emperor, Son of the Morning. Heck yes, that's amazing. I really like that. Maybe some of you guys are really big into music. I say that every time I pick up a tarot deck, I'm like, you're into music. But I don't know. Or lyrics, that kind of stuff. You pick up on things like really quickly. Something about that, okay? So Nine of Pentacles with the Emperor showing up for your energy. This to me is almost proving to yourself that once you get started on something, it's like there's almost like reinforcement worked into something here, where it's like you're feeling more powerful on like your own decisions, or the way that you're like spending your time, to the point that you're not feeling depleted or overworked or underworked or whatever the heck it is, you know, that kind of stuff. I also understand hitting like a really good ratio of like working on something versus like leisure time, or you know, like when you have to be in like boss mode versus like, okay, we can kind of like focus on something else, that kind of thing. All right, that's what I'm understanding. You know, when people say like, oh, like a ringer, like to the point where it's like what the heck is that? Like they pretend they don't know something, but then they do, like a pool shark or something like that. I'm almost like getting that energy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost getting that, or like a big like glow up of some sort. But I mean this in like personal achievement or something like that. So, all right. Okay. So let's see. You guys have I'm getting more incarceration references. So I don't know. What's up, guys? All right. So with the Moon card, you guys have the Hermit card here. This is showing up in the area of your feelings, very private energy. That's what I'm understanding. You might be feeling like you might be one of those people that like, if you look into someone's eyes, you're like, sorry, I need to turn away because I'm reading your brain and I'm not trying to, like that kind of stuff. Or like being like, I know your whole life story and I didn't mean to, or like, do you know what I'm trying to say? That kind of stuff. I'm like almost getting that showing up in your feelings, and I do relate to, I am a Sagittarius, but I do relate to that. So there might be something that you're feeling in the sense of like, this is supposed to be like private, or this is like kind of like a secret thing, or like, God, I feel like I'm looking at a secret, or I'm looking at something I'm not supposed to, you know, that kind of stuff. For others of you guys, there's something here that you're simply like, I was right about that, I was right about that, I was right about that, I was correct about this, that kind of stuff. And I see that in the area of listening to your intuition, or knowing what to do, because like you are innately just doing what you're doing, something about that, okay, that kind of stuff. For some of you guys, there's something here that there's this energy of like, I know there's more there, there's something going on, I need to kind of figure that out, that kind of stuff. But I don't know if you're in the energy of wanting to showcase that or bring that out into the open. I feel like it's more of like a personal acknowledgement, understanding, something like that. You know, that's what I'm feeling. Okay, also some of you guys might just have a really keen eye in the sense of like spotting something like really early, really quickly, something about that, okay? And I do think that that kind of plays into that like energy reading a little bit, or just being like hyper aware of like all the things. So you're like, I noticed like the smallest change in the environment, or whatever the heck it is. But this to me feels more exaggerated than that. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know. That's what it feels like. So, okay. For your environment, you guys have the Star card, and then you have it with the Six of Pentacles here. Again, this is showing up in your environment. So, yes, I feel like there's something about something that maybe needs healing, okay? That needs kind of like to be like reshaped or restructured in some sense, okay? That kind of situation. That's kind of what I'm understanding. The Six of Pentacles, to me, it feels like there's... there's something where it's like, I feel like you have helped somebody along the way, and now there's somebody who wants to help you along the way, okay? This feels like reciprocity, like reciprocal helping or reciprocal understanding, something about that, okay? That kind of situation. I also wonder if there's something that you're seeing in your environment as being like, I know I can restore that and get a great return from it, okay? That kind of situation. This could be houses. This could be maybe you go antiquing and you're like, dude, this person, you know, went to, I don't know, Goodwill or whatever the heck it is, and, you know, put this thing here and now it's mine and yay. You know, like that kind of thing. That could be something that is like happening in your environment. I just feel like it takes you to be like, okay, is this worth it? Am I going to get the return on it? That kind of stuff, okay? That type of stuff. And there might be like, you know, that energy of like restoring something, or I don't know, something like that. So, okay. You have the Three of Pentacles, and then you have it with the Three of Wands here, and this is showing up for your goal. So yes, I feel like your goal is to expand on something, that kind of stuff, maybe like have more free space, or you know, being able to be like, I can devote my energy, I can devote 3 of my wands, let's say, onto this thing because you've already kind of like taken care of something else, or you know, you've reached a certain level of being able to do something independently to the point of like, you know, it's going to work out, you know, like this is you've had like results that have said like, yes, this thing works, or this is accurate, or whatever the heck it is, you know, something about that. Okay, that's kind of what I'm feeling. So I do think that your goal is to expand on something, that kind of stuff. There might be a level of like possibly waiting to hear back from somebody else, okay? There could be like a back and forth energy, but I feel like this is more, again, like kind of like a personal mission or something like that. So you have the Three of Pentacles in the previous energy here. So I do feel like there's been an indication of doing a good job at something, okay? Maybe even getting proof that you have been, you know, following the rules maybe, or the way that you're working on something, the efficiency maybe. There's something about that I feel like you've been proven like that's a good job, that thing works, something about that. And now it's like, okay, so now that you have it like kind of like a well-oiled machine here, now we can expand on it, something like that. All right. Okay, so you have the Hierophant, and this is showing up as the action to take. So I kind of want to say leaning on your belief system with whatever this is, okay? Or leaning on like the way that maybe you have typically done something. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of that Three of Pentacles and that previous energy. Like, you know, you've already gotten recognition, or you've already kind of like proven that you can do a good job in a certain thing, or that you've done like that you can work well with maybe a specific group of people or a specific partner, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. It's like you've already gotten like the accolades for that kind of thing. So now I feel like it's like, hey, do the thing that works, do the thing that you like how you were taught to do it. Or maybe this is even like teaching somebody else how to do something, you know, something like that, okay? I understand like gaining like, maybe I want to say like tricks of the trade or something like that, you know? So like sharing tricks of the trade, that kind of thing. That's what I'm feeling. All right, so you have the Ten of Swords, and this is showing up as what this Hierophant will bring. So I feel like this is doing a really good job, okay? Especially with that Three of Pentacles. I feel like this Ten of Swords is like, and it's finalized, and it's the way that you wanted it, that kind of stuff, okay? That's what I'm feeling, absolutely. Okay, there's also a level of like being committed to whatever it is that you're doing here. You know what I'm saying? Being like, I'm going to expand on it, and I'm committed to this thing. I'm doing it, you know, that kind of thing. And with this Hierophant, I'm getting more of that like first impression energy, or like walking into something, or like, I don't know, something like that, like the way that you're being perceived or somebody else's, something, or like your home, literally, or something that you're finagling with and kind of like organizing, that kind of stuff. So you have the Ace of Swords as what to avoid. There is something about keeping something kind of like hush hush here, that kind of stuff. Again, it's showing up in the area of your feelings as well with the Moon card and the Hermit. It's like, you know, there's an energy of like keeping something kind of cloaked up, keeping something quiet, private, that kind of stuff. But there's also an energy of really, really listening to your intuition and remembering the stuff that you've like already gone through. You know what I'm saying? The Hierophant and the Hermit, those are like really learning a lesson, like knowing, like having gone through something that maybe you have to do by yourself, or it's like, you know, I had to climb this friggin' mountain by myself, that kind of stuff. Now I'm here to teach other people that, or to share my story, something about that, okay? That kind of stuff. And that's what I'm saying. There's something or something around you, whatever it is, that like, there's this reciprocity of like, you know, people's like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like, that's kind of what I'm like getting, you know? So, all right. Okay, so with with the High Priestess here, you guys have the Four of Pentacles showing up for the challenge. So yes, this feels like trying to keep a secret or trying to keep something under wraps, that kind of thing. I will also say there might be a challenge in the area of, again, maybe there was something that like, I'm understanding somebody not trusting your intuition at one time or another, which, that can feel kind of like personal, but like, I feel like we can't take it personally. Like we can't like make someone, we can't like make someone believe us, like you have to believe me. Like, that people are people, we can all make decisions for ourselves. So, there might be something about that, but I do understand having the challenge of possibly, again, feeling like maybe somebody has given you the cold shoulder, or that somebody has like turned their back on you, that kind of situation. And it might be that it's like, you know what, I was holding out hope for this, or I was saving this thing, or whatever the heck it is. And now it's like, I can't reveal it yet. Like I want to, but I can't share it. There's something about that. There's secrecy. I'll tell you that. There's definitely like a big theme of secrecy. And you know what's funny? When I was doing the like elemental readings, I swear to God, every single reading was like, there's a giant secret, there's a giant secret. And so I did Aries and Leo. You're the only one that's coming out with all this like secret energy, Sag. So maybe this is you, with all this like secret type of energy, but I'm also understanding that as like deeply intuitive, like really like inner world, like deeply intuitive, having like a really deep level of understanding about something, that kind of stuff. But there's something about like, you're not showing off about that, or you're just like, yeah, well, that happened. So, what are you going to do? There's something, maybe being very much used to something. I don't know. So, all right, you have the Princess of Swords, and this is showing up as the action to take here. So it does feel like that's what I'm saying is like understanding or listening to like all those like little changes or little like nuances, that kind of stuff, being like super aware of that. This might even be like the challenge is like you have to hold out for something until you intuitively know it's time. Or again, there could just be that there's somebody here who is maybe going cold on you in some sense. If that's the case, then I feel like you're being asked to maybe like reach out or kind of like try and start a conversation, whatever the heck it is, or fact finding about something, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's what I'm feeling. Okay. I even want to like pointing out something. Like I even want to say like pointing at something. I don't know. There's, something. I also feel like there's maybe something that you're feeling is kind of under wraps. And I wonder if this is like, hey, kind of drawing some attention with that, with the Princess of Swords here, that kind of stuff. All right. So you have the Four of Wands, and this is showing up as what this is going to bring. So Four of Wands, again, more of that like finalization or meeting like a particular threshold with something. That could certainly be it. Maybe this is like somebody is wondering like what your threshold is, or what your X, Y, and Z is, whatever the heck it is. And it might be like, hey, kind of like maybe asking some questions or figuring something out, that kind of stuff. That might kind of like open up a conversation, or open up, something in the terms of like, okay, this is my, I'm okay with like this level of something, or I'm okay with, stopping here and then, picking it back up again, or finalizing something. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. There is an energy of like finalization, that kind of stuff. So, all right. You have the Lover's card, and this is showing up as what to avoid. So I would say I'm getting avoiding making something identical to something else. Why? I have no idea. All right. But that seems to be something that should be avoided in this circumstance. And I also understand something about possibly avoiding feeling like you have to go back over and like make a different decision, or avoid being like, oh, but what if I chose that thing? Or what if I went towards this thing? That kind of stuff. Because again, your energy feels focused. So it's almost like, Sag, like ride that train, like ride that wave of like being organized and focused, that kind of stuff. Okay. And like, try not to be like, okay, what if I just like, I'll make this decision instead. And it's like, dude, now we've got to like rework this whole thing, integrate that into here, that kind of stuff. All right. So with the Emperor here, you guys have the Seven of Pentacles for your opportunity. So, all right, yes, I do think that this is like, kind of being like a self-starter, or at the very least, again, maybe the way that you're walking into something, or the way that you're like self-motivating yourself, that, that kind of energy. I feel like your opportunity is to capitalize on that kind of stuff. In the past here, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So I'm wondering if maybe in the past something was kind of like maybe not up to your standards, or that you felt like something wasn't giving back the results that you were putting all this work into, or time or energy or whatever the heck it is there, okay, that kind of stuff, right? So it might be like, hey, part of that is maybe putting, again, that control back in your hands, you know, to be like, okay, well, what can I kind of do about this? Or how could I have like pushed even farther? Or how could I have worked harder? Or whatever the heck it is. I'm not saying working harder until you're like, I'm freaking fried and I'm burnt out. That nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. But there is something to be quite honest with yourself. It's like, could I have, I don't know, could I have like been a little bit more, like had more like discipline with that, or, you know, that kind of situation. That's kind of what I feel like might be like the opportunities to like maybe kind of just take that into account. So, all right, you have the Devil card, and this is showing up as the action to take. So yes, I feel like there's something about like, you know what I feel like? If you're obsessed about something in a healthy way, why the heck not, man, okay? Why not? People have special interests, and if you follow those, usually you can make that work somehow, okay? Because who wants to go to work every day doing something that they hate, you know, that kind of stuff? It's like, if you're doing something that you're already friggin' passionate about to the point that you're like, I'm obsessed with this, like I want to make this like my thing all the time, that's awesome. That is awesome, okay? That's amazing. That's probably like, you know, you came to this earth with a particular like innate skill set, and it's like the universe is like, dude, you were given that for a reason, like please go in that direction, all right? That's really what I'm feeling. Okay. There also might be a particular attachment, okay, that maybe is like, you got to talk about that or figure out something in that way, okay, something that's like physically attached to something. So, all right, you have the Temperance card, and this is showing up as what this is, what the Devil card here is going to bring in. So yes, I feel like this is bringing in something in the terms of like making something stronger in some sense, okay, that kind of stuff, and maybe even making like your like environment or wherever it is that you like kind of like, maybe where you work, or, you know, your desk or your home, whatever the heck it is, your backyard, whatever the heck it is, it's like changing something, and it's going to make like, I want to say something more efficient. I don't know, but I really do want to say that, all right, an energy of like bringing in something more efficient. But I also feel like this is like falling into divine timing or your divine purpose or something about that, okay? You know, that's what I'm feeling. I do think there's something about like blending like different parts of yourself, or blending two different things, that kind of stuff, to like have a different product or a different end goal, or having something like turn out a different way. But I think it's because it's like this energy of like taking into accountability, like, okay, where could I have kind of adjusted things more, or where could I have like maybe stood up more, you know, that kind of stuff. All right. So you have the King of Wands, and this is showing up for what to avoid here. I would say avoiding being overly pushy. I would also avoid any situation where you're going into something maybe knowing there's going to be a power struggle of some sort. I feel like that never ends well at all, okay? So that could be something to avoid in some sense, all right? That kind of stuff. And I also would say avoid anybody who's trying to friggin' put out your fire, man, okay? That kind of stuff. I mean in the terms of like your passion, your desire, what it is that you're like, dude, this is what I was like made for. Like, this is the thing that feels so right, whatever it is, or this is the person that feels so right, the job, the hobby, the dog, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's kind of what I'm feeling like should be avoided, is like taking on too much or being overly pushy, overly aggressive, that kind of stuff. And at the same time, not allowing anybody else to kind of like give you that energy, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys, Sagittarius. I hope this reading was helpful and made sense, all that kind of stuff. If not, you can check your other placements, and I'll see you guys back for your next one. Thank you. Bye.